Upon the 70th anniversary of George Orwell's seminal novel 1984, the Antidote Festival is celebrating the masterpiece that inspired generations and led a cause for change. In his novel, Orwell emphasises the importance of freedom by articulating the severe consequences of living in a society suppressed by higher powers. This mirrors the society depicted in Ray Bradbury's 1953 classic Fahrenheit 451. Both novels are ruled by totalitarian governments who deceive its citizens to believe that they are not living in a dystopia, but in fact a perfect utopia. Specifically from this video, I hope you, the forward-thinking viewers of the Antidote Festival, take away the influential impact of language in forming an individual's perception of freedom and how the abuse and misuse of language has led to suppression. Also, we will look at how both authors have concluded the novels, demonstrating that above all else, freedom is essential to the individual, collective human experience. Language is a crucial element in obtaining, affirming, and challenging ideas. Both texts manipulate language in a way which restricts thought and the ability to be free-thinking, making a free world unfathomable. 1984 places a great emphasis on newspeak to articulate how language has been constrained and how it is a detriment to a free-thinking society. A worker at the paradoxically named Ministry of Truth explains to the protagonist Winston Smith, "The ultimate goal of newspeak is to make language rigidly defined and all its subsidiary meanings robbed out and forgotten. The metaphor robbed out assists the reader to visualize the significance of the eradication of language, symbolically leaving blank lines representing an empty and uniform world. The effect of newspeak is reflected in the paradoxical names of the ministries. Named in newspeak, Mini True, Mini Pax, Mini Love, and Mini Plenty. The alliteration establishes the blandness of the new language, further symbolizing how this restricted world is lifeless." Similarly, Fahrenheit 451 restricts language through the elimination of books, achieved through book burning. This alludes to historical book burning practices seen by the likes of the Nazi Party, just a few years prior to the book's publishing. In Fahrenheit 451, society has accepted this practice because citizens have become complacent in the comfort of the false reality found in television and radio, and therefore have no desire to read and reflect on its ideas and meanings. This is emphasized in the metaphor describing books in this novel as pores in the face of life. The metaphor pores reflect the imperfections and inconsistencies found in the true essence of books about our world, and as a result, society has no desire to read and won't realize the freedom that they are restricted from. In short, it is fundamental for a society to communicate, read, and write in order to comprehend the significance of living in a free world. But if freedom isn't desirable for these people, then why is it important to attain it? Well, the consequences of suppression are demonstrated through unsatisfactory lives and the normalization of crime, warfare, and murder. 1984 has twisted language to the point where warfare is seen as natural and normal, as this society has no free thought to think otherwise. Even the enemy changes depending on what is told to them. Orwell uses the hyperbole impossible to signify that an enemy is communicated in such a way that it has the ability to brainwash the empty minds. The allusion to warfare reflects the impact war had on Orwell and readers of this novel at the time, who just came out of World War II and were suffering the effects of death, destruction, and depression, thus resonating and connecting his ideas with the audience. Similarly, Fahrenheit 451 citizens live carefree lives, with no emotion and common occurrences of murder and crime. This is reflected in a statement to the protagonist Montag. "I always like to drive fast when I feel that way. You hit rabbits, sometimes dogs." Here, the reference to dogs and rabbits symbolizes innocence, thus killing them therefore represents wrongdoing and suffering in this society. Ray Bradbury believes the demise of books is a central problem here, through Montag. The metaphor caves suggests this society is in a dark and restricted state, and that a free life is restricted by walls and barriers. Thus, both the authors have written these novels as to the importance of freedom in society, and to the human experience, as without it life has been depicted as dark and unsatisfactory. The dramatic ends of both novels suggest that both authors place the value of freedom above all else. Through their conclusive views, they want their reader to take away. 1984 ends with the ultimate demise of Winston. However, hope for humanity is found in the appendix. The anomaly, after hope has been seemingly crushed, suggests the party's demise and the restoration of freedom. This could be contributed to the last remaining artifact of the story's protagonist, his diary. This is suggested by Winston's intentions for his diary. Winston's use of anaphora alludes to historical speakers, such as Winston Churchill or Martin Luther King, who have used that technique in order to captivate their audience and lead a cause for change. Contrastly, Fahrenheit 451 concludes with the protagonist prevailing, walking into a nuclear fallout of the city with nothing but books. Someday, the load we're carrying may help someone. The figurative language of the physical weight, as well as the mental load of the book's contents, is a way to emphasize the key role language will have in restoring a free society, away from nuclear warfare. In summary, both novels end with a glimpse of hope, built on the hope of a free world. Thus, both authors have articulated freedom essential to humanity and the human experience. To finish, These novels, unlike any other form, has resonated and connected its ideas with the mass audience. George Orwell and Ray Bradbury alike have pointed out the importance of language in shaping a free society for the collective. So it is up to us, 70 years later, to use our voice and to point out suppression in the modern world, in order for us all to have rich and meaningful lives here on Earth.